think we're live. Welcome everyone to a political recap stream on Moisky Live. Oh boy, what a great week it's been. And I will say this, I was in the middle of a PMQ stream. I believe it was PMQ when the news broke in my chat, I believe, that Trump was acquitted. We will get to it later. We have two obvious subjects. And we need to address the first one to get to the second one, because I feel like it tells its own story, and there's not much British stuff going on because of this, understandably so. Joining me for this, obviously, is my lovely co-host Trups LP. So say hello, Trups LP.
Hello, Trups LP.
How is Trups LP?
Trups LP is good. I just hope I don't get a work phone call in the middle of the stream.
If you do, then it's going to get very awkward because I've been so busy.
Well, I may just tell them to call back in an hour.
Well, that's very generous of you.
Because, it's not time sensitive or anything.
Oh, that's okay then. Last thing I don't want to, have you be put out or work put out because of this. That would be
Yes.
bad.
Yes. Anyway,
yes.
Yes. How are you? How are you this week?
Tired. I wanted to have at least like one day off, so I could rest, because I'm going away tomorrow to go to Sabaton, and I thought I'd have one lay-in, just one. No, not one. In fact, it's been 6 a.m.s all week, and I'm incredibly tired and worn out, and tomorrow's gonna be a long day. But that's fine. I get to go to a gig at least. Just
Sabaton's cool.
As long as I don't fall asleep, it'd be great.
I don't think Sabaton really lets you fall asleep.
Something you can't control when you absolutely are exhausted. It just happens.
That's fair.
And
do you are you a mosh type?
We have seated seats.
Unfortunate.
Because Joe is blind, so she can't do the.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And she was one that very kindly got the tickets. I did, however, as a bonus to myself, I bought Machine Head tickets. I went and saw them at the start of November with a friend. This time I bought tickets for myself and my brother-in-law because he's always wanted to go, and I'm like, let's go in June. They're playing at Brixton. Let's go. We are going to go and tear it up because, why not?
Hell yeah! Sounds like fun.
Yes. Anyway, it's just been a very long. Basically, the guy who gives me work, he's unfortunately suffered a bereavement, so I've been covering him, which has worn me out a bit. But it's fine. Right. It's fine. My sister's going to cover me on Sunday morning on my way back. One of the jobs I have to do, so we're all good. And yes, Orange Man is indeed. Remove the verses. Racist orange people, dude. That's exactly who he is. It's Trump. He's a bad
yes.
Man.
As you can tell, I am very much a racist orange man.
He is. It's why he has a red goatee.
Actually, it was just to show that I had one. Otherwise, it would look like I had like a gobble going on. I still kind of does look like that, but
giblet. Nothing wrong with giblets, man.
We don't eat those here.
I'm not saying you eat them. I'm just saying they don't look bad. It's not like he's holding balls in them.
Of course not.
Playing with Velcro.
But yeah. So okay. Do we want to do like order of occurrence on this one? So State of the Union first.
Let's do the timeline, shall we? Let's go straight with the State of the Union, I think.
Okay, so the State of the Union was actually a lot of people have been commenting that Trump actually exhibited a level of discipline during the State of the Union that most people weren't expecting. They were kind of expecting him to come out throwing hands and talking about how BS all of this impeachment stuff was. But he stuck very close to message, talking about unemployment being down, the record numbers of jobs created for African Americans and women. He went through basically the first half of the speech was all about the union. How are we doing as a country? The stock market's up, all that stuff.
Isn't that the point?
Oh, absolutely. And then the second half was a lot of I guess it would be like blatant calls to empathy.
Okay.
Um, like in that he talked about one of the last remaining Tuskegee Airmen. Right, he's about 100 years old, and Donald Trump personally acknowledged him, who was in the gallery. There was a story about a man who got hit by a roadside bomb when he was deployed the second time in Iraq, and a letter to his son. And his son and the wife were in the gallery. The son did not look happy to be, taken notice of or anything like that. But there was that. There was a reuniting of a man who was deployed and his family. So it was a lot of like feel good, like blatant feels to empathy kind of moments.
Okay. Do you think, because
Um,
we've covered the last two State of the Unions,
mhm.
was this on par with the first two in that?
I think this one was probably the most presidential one that
So
he's done.
that pretty much sums up where I was going, actually. But also the response within the chamber itself, in the sense of how people how people responded to what President Trump was saying.
Okay, so I want to give Adam Schiff credit.
Is he the guy who's trying to get him impeached?
Yes.
Okay, credit for
There
the
was a
cause.
moment. There was a moment where Trump said that he wanted to help address the mental health issues in the country. And he wanted to make that a priority and really seek out a good avenue for people who suffer from mental illness to seek out remedies. And Adam Schiff stood up and clapped.
Do you think that credit? That's fantastic. Do you think that's possibly him taking notice of the of other countries' view on treating it equally to that of physical issues?
Well, I don't know what it is, but I know that there's see the very curious part about mental illness is that it's so varied. It can manifest in so many different ways. It can be something that can actually manifest in physical behaviors, or it can be something completely internal.
Yeah,
And either way, we only have a cursory understanding of either of those.
yeah.
And I think just by him saying, I want to figure out a solution or at least be able to get help means that we would at least go forward with the right idea. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't know if he necessarily is accepting of other countries' like opinions on it or their assessments of it, but I know that in his statement, at least he says, I want to know more. I want to seek out our professionals to really take a priority in this. Let's do that. And I thought that was very commendable and actually a very presidential thing for him to do. And I wanted to applaud Adam Schiff. And actually, there was another House manager who's in charge of impeachment who also stood up at that time and clapped. So I want to give credit where credit is due. The Democrats seemed a little bit more receptive this time.
Really?
They stood up and clapped more often. Um, there were times where Democrats would stand up and cheer the things that Donald Trump was saying. Now, I don't know necessarily if that was because they got railed the last time.
Or do you think it was because they thought he'd be gone? So they thought, here you go,
Maybe,
have some
but
claps.
or um, the other option is that they genuinely thought that what he was saying was applaudable.
I have seen a number of videos from differing sides and opinions on this. Some just skirted over the results in favour of saying this guy's got to go, and then others saying yes, but the results. You can hate the guy, but he's still getting the results.
CNN radio and MSNBC radio have actually been forced to kind of accept that what Donald Trump is saying is true.
Mm-hmm.
One of the was it Matt Schatz on MSNBC?
Schultz?
Schultz, maybe.
Hmm.
on MSNBC. He was talking about Schatz is a
Shots.
senator. I apologize. No, Schatz is a senator.
Okay.
Um, but they were talking about, like, if I were him, I would stick to the message. I mean, he's got a great thing going for him. He's got this low unemployment. He's got high African American employment, high women employment. He's got this great booming economy, and I'm like, MSNBC, you're giving him a lot of fucking credit. That's
Do you think it's because the attempt to remove him is done? I mean, I'm not going to say we move on to that subject just yet, but it's been incredibly quiet in my country on that subject, in favour of talking about a guy who's just come out on national TV. That's it. I'm like, hang on. I really don't care about that. I actually care more about this.
Well, I think right now the Democrats are being, in the American media, are being shown to be absolutely full of themselves. And we'll get to it, because as you see in the image behind us, you see Nancy Pelosi at the end of the State of the Union tore up the speech, the copy that Trump had given both Pence and Pelosi before. And she tore it up in a symbolic action.
You mean the dignified response to him not shaking her hand?
That was a curious one, because it was her fault that the impeachment started.
Oh,
Why would I shake your hand?
I
you
used
know?
the word dignified on purpose because it's actually.
Oh no, I understood the sarcasm.
Oh, good.
No, I'm not that dense. But it is curious, because what Nancy Pelosi then came out and talked about after being heavily criticized for tearing up the speech was, she said that it was all lies. We know the truth, but everything that Trump said was a lie. And I was like, really? The Tuskegee Airmen, them being a gracious and honored member of American history, those are lies. The man who was reunited with his family, those are lies. The man who died in Afghanistan, and had a letter that was sent to his son, that was a lie.
Mm.
The unemployment, all the numbers, those are lies. Yeah, they just came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, I do want to quickly address something, Lindy, because I like Lindy. I do tend to not care much about ripping up the State of the Union, but I do take issue with somebody in high office acting so petulantly on a stage in front of somebody who, unironically, is usually more petulant than her. I take issue with that, because it shows that instead of being the best person, just ignoring it and moving on, you chose to, in your own way, be dignified and lash out in a rather immature manner. I honestly don't see a point in caring, but it's the manner that she did it. It's like what you said, but how you say it.
There was actually something that was curious, because technically Nancy Pelosi did not announce Trump correctly.
Oh.
So you remember in the lovely little Titantron that I had made last year, and how the Sergeant at Arms comes in and says, "Madam Speaker, the President of the United States." Right? Technically, the Speaker of the House is supposed to then say, "Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States." This year, she just said, "Members of Congress, the President of the United States."
Okay, broken. It seems
which is technically procedurally incorrect.
Okay. Another thing I want to point out: Trump is the king of petulant. You're right, but when he does that speech and looks like a king, because he just does the most presidential version of what he can do, and the person behind decides to act like a child, he then no longer looks like a petulant child, does he? He looks presidential next to somebody who's supposed to be what? How many seats from office is she from being president? Is she how many stages away is she? Is it 3 or 4?
3.
Come on, degrees.
She's
of
the third in line.
Come on.
The people who are basically in that photo right there are the three top for president of the United States.
Mike Pence looks like he wants to kiss Trump, you know.
Sure, yeah, totally he does. And with all that gay electrotherapy that he wants to do.
Oh dear, he said that, didn't he? He actually.
A long time ago, yeah, that was what he believed.
I hope he doesn't anymore. That's not...
He doesn't say it. He doesn't talk about it. It's not his job.
I wonder why.
But it's very interesting. She chose a very poor time to act this way. Almost like she didn't actually listen. Now, okay, I'm going to give Pelosi this one benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
There was one aspect of the State of the Union address that I thought was absolutely full of shit.
What was that?
Rush Limbaugh recently got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Rush Limbaugh.
And Trump awarded him the Medal of Freedom.
What is the Medal of Freedom to the Brits?
So the Medal of Freedom is basically one of the highest distinct honors of
for a civilian
of the United States.
Oh, it's a official thing, not a civilian thing then.
It's it's one of the highest civilian awards in the United States.
So I'd heard,
and it's supposed to recognize.
I'd heard he'd been awarded something on Twitter, and my first response was, "Wait, he's alive?" I thought he died ages ago. I thought this was posthumous, and I'm like, "Oh, this must be a troll." Because Rush Limbaugh, I don't. No offense to him, but really. I hear a cat.
See, what's interesting is that it's supposed to recognize those people who have made, quote, an especially meritorious contribution to the security or national interests of the United States, world peace, cultural, or other significant public or private endeavors.
Okay.
It can be awarded to military personnel, but it is technically a civilian award.
Right.
Now, some people who have had it was, let's see, civil rights leader Philip Randolph, the Apollo 13 crew, Mother Teresa, Margaret Thatcher got it, which is interesting.
Did she?
Yeah, from George H.W. Bush in 1991.
That makes sense. Well, that must be one of the last things he did.
Yes. Aretha Franklin got it. Tony Blair. Oh, now George W. Now you've ruined it. Yeah, never mind. I'm now sad about it.
What did George W. do? Sorry.
Yeah, George W. gave it to Tony Blair.
Oh Jesus! Of course he did. He gave it to his bum buddy.
Yeah. No shit. In 2009 too.
Oh no. Hang on, 2009.
Yeah. Right.
As he left.
Yeah. It was probably one of the last things he did.
Yeah.
Because that would mean that he did it at the beginning of January.
Yeah, that must have been. Oh, that's not good.
But anywho's, meow.
Yeah, different.
Oh.
Yeah.
But anyway, they give it to Rush Limbaugh, and I thought that was kind of like, meh.
Is Rush Limbaugh a huge supporter of Trump or something? Because
he is. He's a
like
red
so
conservative.
What is Rush considered a journalist or media or?
He is a radio talk show host for conservative radio.
Right. My next question seems to be obvious then. When Trump was running for office, was he? Is it possible that he was one of the few people giving him positives?
I think so.
So it's possible this is entirely done to, even though I don't agree with it. By the way, I know Rush Limbaugh is not a fan, but yeah, no.
No, I don't think he deserved it. I think that was one of the. I guess it was one of the things that was like, hey, I hear you're dying. I appreciate you. I can give you this if you want, you know. And that's kind of what I think. But I think that part.
Sorry, I wasn't in front of my microphone. Sorry, guys, I was leaning away because of a cat. Sorry, Lulu Bell. See, cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That part I thought was bullshit, and that was probably the only reason why I would have torn up the speech at that point.
Right. Okay.
Because it continued, I wouldn't have.
Oh dear.
She's actually being there's several ethics violations being filed against her because of this.
Oh really?
Yes,
Why?
because she broke house rules,
Well, she's,
and
and this seems I don't know much about whether the speaker can break the rules or not.
yes, they can.
So, does it really matter, really?
Yes, well, of course. The speaker can break the House rules. They are basically the top enforcer of the majority party in the House,
Right.
and they are at that point just a representative of the public. But they most certainly can break rules. The
Okay.
rules are agreed upon by the majority of the House.
Okay.
Now, if the House were to vote and say this isn't a rule, that's a different story.
I cast thee away with my big
Hang on a second.
clot fought
Oh right.
repellent
Thank you
spray.
for the donation. Everyone in the chat's saying my volume is really low. I've turned it up to the full. I can't turn it up any higher. This might be OBS doing its thing where it, I could just. Oh dear. Let's risk it here on the microphone here. There's a knob, but unfortunately it doesn't indicate on the microphone which way goes up and which way goes down. So I can't possibly guess correctly. I do apologise for everyone who is struggling to hear me, but to be honest, Trups is the one that's going to be saying everything anyway.
And to be fair, I was also like leaning on my desk into my microphone, so
I've turned you down.
That's a good one. In comparison, we might be fine.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, so yes, Matt Gaetz is one of the ones filing. I believe he's filing most of the ethics complaints, and I believe he's also launching a criminal charge against Nancy Pelosi for breaking a law that says you may not destroy, obliterate, eradicate, or any such kind of destruction of public record.
So I just want to say, first of all, I'm sure. Okay, there are a couple things on this that I personally think it should just let it go. They've already, and I say that in the sense of now knowing what they've lost and what they're trying to achieve. But also the public record thing. There are copies, surely.
Oh, absolutely. That's why Tim Pool argued that the spirit of the law says no, but truth of the matter, yes, technically.
And I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I genuinely in this case, just let it go, because you've already won, and we'll get to the wins. No, don't climb on the keyboard. No. Sorry, cat. Ow.
It's interesting though. They've already quote unquote won, but Republicans are finally growing a set.
Yeah. Oh, you think they're actually getting bolder now then in that regard?
Oh, they are. Proof is actually in Lindsey Graham, but we'll get to that in a second. So that was the State of the Union. It was actually well received for the most part, and then Nancy Pelosi ruined it by tearing up the speech.
I like that.
45 Trump University shut down for fraud in order to pay $25 million. Did they offer to agree in con man? I don't know. I didn't go there. Did you?
I don't care enough. I should say that it became, and I think maybe it's because of how bold and brazen it was, it became the talking point. In retrospect, it doesn't genuinely matter that Nancy Pelosi tore it up. It was the fact that she stood there and did it in front of everyone, and that was quite odd. I don't know if it was done.
It was definitely done intentionally.
Well, part of me thought it was done because it was more about a last dig at this soon-to-be gotten rid of president, That's what I thought perhaps, but I don't think that's the case. Another is just, it's just a piece of paper, get rid of it. But I don't know. And it really doesn't, it shouldn't matter. But it is, and you can equate them if you want. You can't say just because one person's a child, it's okay for another person to act like a child. But then when one person's acting mature and one's acting like a child, no. You can't. It's just that's pathetic. It's delusional to think for a second it's acceptable to then call someone out for being a child while you yourself are acting like a child, or then to lash
Oh,
out.
indeed, absolutely. Especially when you're calling him out for lies and everything is actually
And
objectively verified.
I'm sure he's lied about some things. To be fair, and I'm sure.
Sure.
Yeah,
He's
and
fudged the numbers here and there. Like
I'm
he
not
says
gonna.
12 million, and it's
I'm,
actually 11,785,000,
yeah,
something like
people
that.
were going to pick at that because they're pedantic shits, and I get it because if someone says it makes a claim, it has to be proven. Otherwise, it is in fact wrong. But I think it's just if you're in high office and your president is a known child, you don't or imitate them. That's just not professional in any sense of the word. And maybe the sense of professional has changed because of Trump being elected, in the sense of if he can get away with doing all this childishness and acting like a dick on Twitter and all this, surely I can do it. No. Well, yes, you can, but you really shouldn't. And I don't care about the speech being torn. I think it's more of it's the symbol gesture that people find fascinating, or possible arrogance that could be attributed to it.
Well, remember, this was right before the vote for acquittal, so it was coming the next day, right?
Oh, was it? Jesus.
Yes. So let's fast forward to the next day, which was Wednesday of this week, where the House under Mitch McConnell voted to acquit Donald Trump. Well, technically, they basically just didn't have enough votes to find him guilty.
Yeah, it
So
was a huge
therefore, they
margin.
voted to acquit.
It was a huge margin of difference. But I will say, and I'm no fan of it, it was right down party lines, except for one vote, and that was Mitt Romney, I believe.
I believe that there was another one as well, but Mitt Romney's the most interesting one.
No, it was one vote difference. It was one. Ow, ow, ow. Thank you. It was one vote difference on this second charge, and it was Mitt Romney. Which actually had me wonder why he was trending on Twitter, and then I looked at Twitter and everyone was spoken out. And I agree with Chicken 2.0. Someone take away his phone and her go-go juice. So essentially, take away his tech or his assistant that writes his tweets, and Nancy Pelosi's booze, because I've heard the rumours.
Yes, indeed.
Not that it matters. However you function, it is your business. I function on water and oatmeal.
I like seltzer personally. I have a soda stream purchasable at a Bed Bath & Beyond.
I prefer flapjacks, to be honest. They're just fantastic.
I like flapjacks too.
Yeah, I do.
Call them pancakes, but I'll accept flapjacks.
No. Flapjack, the oat cake, not the pancake.
Oh.
Yeah, the oat cake.
Sounds like rice cakes.
Similar, but they have a lot more energy packed into them.
Energy. All right, cool.
Well, I can't do caffeine, so I need it. Okay.
Fair enough.
But yes, so, I tend to agree with Chicken 2.0 in that regard. But I did notice the party lines, and my first thought was immediately I sighed, because it just showed there was no real progress made, and it was a big win. Even though the votes don't look different, you have to take, obviously people don't know this, 2/3 are needed to remove him. Didn't even get 50% because it was party line, except for Mitt, who I'm starting to think might be a tad salty, because if memory serves, he didn't think Trump would win the primaries.
No, Mitt Romney is actually very much a establishment Republican.
And I wished I grabbed the picture of him and Trump having dinner together, because that was awkward looking.
Yeah. They haven't liked each other actually for quite some time.
But I'm sure Mitt sat back though and considered it and believed that what he was voting on was correct. So,
no, you know what? It doesn't really matter to me if Mitt voted with his conscience, with his faith, as he claimed. That part doesn't matter to me. You can vote however you feel is right.
Yeah.
And I won't judge. That's your prerogative.
Mm-hmm. Democratic right.
I don't think Republicans should be skewering Mitt for doing that. I think that's wrong.
Oh, they won't, will they? Because it doesn't matter.
No, yes, I know, but a lot of people are trying to skew it that way and say that because Mitt had voted against Trump, all the Republicans are calling them traitors, and I think that's wrong.
Right. Is Mitt Romney? He's a senator, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just forget what he does, so I thought I'd just check. But it doesn't. Oh, see, he must be a senator if he voted in that. Didn't he take a break from politics?
He did after he lost to Barack Obama.
Oh well, that's a lengthy break. You feel answer. I have no idea who Colonel Vindman is. Actually, I do
You guys
apologize.
going to talk about the firing of Lieutenant Colonel Vindman by Trump. Vindman, winner of the Purple Heart, is fired by a draft dodger. How can anyone support Trump?
Just going to say,
Yo.
I have to ask because maybe I'm being a pedantic shit before you say this.
Oh.
You don't win a Purple Heart.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a win.
Yeah.
I got shot. Yay!
I got shot in the butt. Talks. Carry on.
But
But I'm just being a dick.
to answer that question, because Lieutenant Colonel Vindman acts in an official capacity underneath the executive branch, and he thought that his opinions on foreign relations were better than that of the duly elected President of the United States. He is a disgruntled employee and has been fired as such. If you think that that person deserves any other kind of special treatment, then I implore you to examine your own personal bias as to why that one disgruntled employee deserves special treatment over any other disgruntled employee.
Right, back onto the impeachment acquittal. So, who do we blame for this this heresy that Trump is still there?
Most of the United States, actually.
Okay, who do we blame?
And the reason I say that is because I wanted to now that we know Wednesday Trump was acquitted, I want to flash back to Monday in the Iowa caucus.
Oh, hang on. Do we even know who won that?
No, they are currently in the process of a recanvassing.
I'm sorry, how a recanvass?
Yes, so all of the chairs of the caucuses will then find their paper recordings of that evening, submit them to the DNC, and the DNC will inform you of who won. Now, if that seems a little like, wow, that's weird, we're kind of putting everyone's faith into just one committee, you would be right.
I don't know what to say to that.
Yes, well, that is what's currently going on because Bernie Sanders ended up looking like he was coming out ahead. And the DNC doesn't like that. In fact, Joe Biden went on the attack afterwards. Now, remember, Joe Biden was the subject of the political smear in which Trump was trying to get a quote-unquote a foreign government to investigate a political opponent in which he is shaking in his boots to face in November. Oh no, Joe Biden came in a far down fourth in Iowa.
Hang on, who's above him? You have obviously Sanders.
Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, and Bernie Sanders.
Oh, Pete, I saw his name actually. Wasn't he top?
He was.
How? I don't even know who he is.
Pete Buttigieg is the gay mayor from Indiana who served as a military serviceman, and he hasn't said a whole lot, and that's probably the best gift that he could have given everyone.
I just want to say, because I don't really give much of a damn, why does someone... Oh, no, I know why, because you've not had... No, it doesn't matter. Carry on. It's all good.
Republican fascists don't respect the rule of law. Sorry, I was looking... 45 is a chronicler. He's right. He's entertaining me.
As long as you're having fun.
I'm having a great time. Trump hires only the best pedophile protectors and child pornographers. Hey, be careful, because if you actually had a name, that would be defamation.
I also want to mention the reference to not caring about corruption in current administration in favor of caring about corruption within candidates. I care about all of it. I just don't know much of it at all. It's why I have Trups here to tell me about it.
Vindman gets fired for telling the truth. His job was to be a Ukrainian expert. Vindman did not agree with Trump's extortion of a U.S. ally for political purposes, and that makes him a disgruntled. Yeah, because Vindman is appointed. He's not elected. It then lends itself to believe that the duly elected president has a policy that most Americans agree with. Therefore, that's who wins the fight.
Right.
If you have an argument, you may have that argument. You may not win. And yes, technically he is moving to DOD out of a ambassadorship. Anywho's. And yeah, some expert. He did so well. So yes, so Iowa caucus information. Pete Buttigieg coming out on top, surprising most everyone, honestly. But then it came out that Pete Buttigieg actually gave money to the company Shadow Inc. Best name ever.
You sure it wasn't Raid
which is
Shadow
the company
Legends,
that
who totally don't sponsor us yet?
No, Raid Shadow Legends wants nothing to do with me, even though I play their game.
I don't play their game, but I'm disappointed they haven't reached out.
Most Americans do not agree with extorting Ukraine. I don't know. Do you speak for most Americans, Ufio? Let me know if you get 330 million people to respond to a survey.
Can I just draw attention? The extortion thing. Didn't the Ukrainian leader say something about the whole nonsense? And
Oh, yes. You mean President Vladimir Zelensky saying that he felt no pressure whatsoever and, in fact, did not know that military aid was being withheld? You would be right.
Okay. Also, Lindy, to address the witness thing, I'll be honest, I kind of wanted to hear from witnesses too, but I was very much aware that this was now in the Republicans' ballpark, because they had no say in Congress in whatever that was, and it just showed that this was them returning the favor. It just showed and proved to me consistent. No offense to you and your politics, but it is childish.
Good news, Lindy. You might be able to hear from witnesses when impeachment 2.0 begins.
Oh Jesus! Spoilers, everyone. Hang on, I need to go and get which images. Oh, which did I?
It's the Pelosi image.
Here we go. We'll put him on double secret impeachment. There you go. I've got
yes.
it. It's there for you. So paint the picture for us, please. Paint the glorious
yes. So he's
picture.
acquitted. Everyone, he's doing victory laps. He's holding up things that say he's acquitted. He tweets and all this shit. And everyone's angry. And by everyone, I mean Democrats. Some of them are in the chat.
No offense if you're a Democrat or anything. Honestly,
I don't say that.
I would say this, right? Before you even continue with this, before you even get onto this absolute bull hockey, we all agreed there was no way Trump was going to be removed from office. We knew this months ago. We knew this when it first started happening, because we knew that the Senate wouldn't allow it. So everything they did, all the optics, it looked pathetic. Everyone was calling for Nancy to resign, which I don't agree with in the slightest. She can.
It is being talked about.
Yeah, I don't think that's no. She didn't say she'd retire or walk away if he wasn't removed. No, but we all knew he was going to be acquitted. So this is it was just a massive waste of time to make some people look good, doing something that didn't prove anything because of how pathetic it came across.
To Brandon Brown in the chat, did you hear that the Republicans want to completely take over the House and expunge the impeachment mark? Yes, and they plan to, and they will campaign to do so, and they'll probably get it.
Trump acquitted of 2 charges. I was actually just quickly looking to see if I could find anything on that. But they did block the impeachment witnesses. Before you get back to 2.0, I do apologize again. Did the Senate have to call for the witnesses anyway? Did they have to?
No, they didn't have to.
Okay, carry on. 2.0 then.
They had a vote for it. It was an amendment as part of the proceedings, and they voted it down.
Okay.
So I mean,
So you're going to impeach
else do
Trump
you
again.
want?
You're going to impeach him again. Double impeachment.
Yep. Well, remember, Nancy Pelosi said he is impeached forever, and Republicans said, "Oh, really?"
Hold my. What do
Hold my
Republicans do?
No, hold my beer.
Oh, they drink beer, do they? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, hold my beer, and they'll fucking go at it, and they're planning to take over the House in order that they can expunge that impeachment mark. They will nullify the fact that he was impeached,
You realize
calling
people
it partisan.
You realize people are then going to say, that he was still impeached originally. I mean, that's still.
Oh, absolutely. No, the history books will still record the fact that he was impeached and then expunged. The point is, though, that they believe the vast majority of the Republicans believe that he was impeached under false pretenses.
Oh, okay. Maybe they should just let him get impeached twice, because as we all know, 2 impeachments cancel each other out because they're both negatives.
Oh my Jesus blood! Thank you, Mail.
Thank you.
But no, they're going to do it again, Lindy.
I have no idea what that noise was. You came out with.
Because Nancy Pelosi came out and said that we have more things that we can impeach him on, even if he gets acquitted.
It's a waste of time. Focus on the election, you bellend.
No, because they don't want to, because their candidate's losing. So if they focus on the election, they have to admit the fact that Bernie Sanders is going to win the primaries.
Their candidate was guaranteed a loss on Wednesday.
I know.
Because of them. Not because of the candidate.
And wait, but wait, there's more. The Republicans, under the direction of Lindsey Graham, have already launched an investigation into Hunter Biden and Joe Biden for corruption.
You mean that's just because Hunter Biden once said that he wouldn't have any of the top jobs he's had if it wasn't for his last name?
That plus Hunter Biden was on a plane of Air Force 2, which is the one that the president's not on.
Yeah,
but the vice president is on.
I agree, Lindy. He probably would brag about it because that is actually quite the accomplishment. It's a massive waste of resources and time and money.
Absolutely.
As far as I'm
you know
concerned,
how mad I am that we have to fucking deal with that shit. Fascism is a form of far-right authoritarian ultranationalism.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Don't engage with him for a second. So,
boy,
boy, you're done. That's good. This year is a huge deal. If you want to beat him, you're going to have to show the people that you have something better to offer them. You don't do it by undermining the person who will try and lead your party by trying to do something else that has now failed. Stop it.
But the problem is...
And don't even bother doing it in the second term when he gets it. And I say when now because you just screwed your partners up. Your candidate, sorry. You've ruined it for him.
Listen, the issue is, though, that the Democrats are in a civil war against progressives, like establishment Democrats, Joe Biden, versus people like AOC, Bernie Sanders. They're on a constant fight back and forth, right? They can't get over the fact that a Democratic socialist is going to be representing the Democratic Party, and for that, they will not let him win.
Right. We do need... I mean, I do feel... I'm really sorry to all of you who are American. So even those that are Republican, Democrat, or independent, I genuinely do feel sorry for you because this is all humiliating. And unfortunately for you, you know what you now have. You know you've got 4 more, you've got 4 more years. Oh, 5 technically. But you've got 4 more years because this is a huge... You don't...
4 more
this
years.
is... I mean, I'm sure that's fantastic for many people who have looked at what he's done, what he's achieved, what's going on, and maybe said it's because of the upturn that started during Obama's time. That's fine. You know, whatever.
I couldn't care less about that.
Or the relaxing of tax laws to encourage more businesses to grow and start up and employment, all that. It's just one of those really... If you're in the middle, you're a filthy centrist and you should kill yourself. Sorry, I don't mean that karma. Of course I don't. But it's just this is.
I take a special kind of offense to that centrist comment. How dare you?
You should be ashamed of yourself. You sicken me. But
how dare you? I voted for Hillary.
I know you did. But
and everyone in the chat should know that too. 45 is a chronic liar. You piece of shit.
You didn't really, did you?
No, I did. I totally did.
Fair enough. moving on. I find this to be an absolute. It draws attention away from the election as well, which means that when people then talk about the election, when people finally have a candidate for the Democrats, and he's going up against Trump, people aren't going to be talking about that. They're going to be talking about impeachment and talking about how embarrassing. And then how does the person going up against Trump talk about that? Because it's going to get brought up, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's going to make them.
They
They
can't
don't
not
have an
talk
answer.
about it.
I mean, can you imagine if it's Sanders even? How's he going to be able to do? I mean, he might get impeached. Can I talk about healthcare? No, impeachment. What? He won't be able to talk about policy. Please share the tramadol, exactly. And yes, I did label you, Karma. Filthy, filthy
No,
centrist.
but it's terribly sad because, and also Ufio Lev Parnas literally shot himself in the foot when he said that the ambassador to Ukraine, not Vindman, but the lady, the one with the Yanovich, whatever.
Do you want to look it up?
Yeah, whatever that woman's name is. That comment was coming up in 2018 before Biden even announced that he was going to be running for an election, therefore completely nullifying the fact that this could have been a dig at Biden by trying to remove that person from their position. Literally, it was just a person who didn't agree with the policy that was being pushed by the president of the United States. And under executive privilege, they can remove people who are under their under that control.
Still talking
I'm
about
sorry
Vindman,
that
huh?
you don't like that, but that's just how it is. Barack Obama could do it, George W. Bush could do it, Bill Clinton could do it, and so can Trump. If you want to change the law, vote people in who you want to change the law, but good luck trying to get that shit passed.
Talking about Vindman again, aren't we?
No, Yanovich, something
Oh,
like that.
okay. Oh, thank the Lort.
You're such an expert, the lady. I'm drinking, you shithead.
Oh, don't engage the. It's all good. So, how
You
will
couldn't
this,
give me an answer sober.
How is 2.0 going to happen? How is it going to play out if it happens?
So, the issue with impeachment 2.0 is that they're basically going to drum up some kind of policy or small little clausal difference in Trump's actions versus the letter of the law, and they'll try to impeach according to a very syntactical or grammatical problem.
Okay.
Because they can't prove anything at a larger scale. They can't prove large scale corruption because it's not like they have a smoking gun, Watergate tape, that kind of thing. Even though they assume to do so, it's very strange because they want to hear from John Bolton. But John Bolton in 2018 said that he would lie if he thought it would benefit him.
Oh dear.
He has literally said that on record.
Hang on, but haven't during certain hearings there have been known liars or people who have been charged.
Oh, you mean Michael Flynn?
Who have been charged and then asked to present evidence, and it's like, hang on, this person has been charged with and has been is a proven liar, and you still question them as if they're truthful. I'm sorry.
Jim Jordan made a very, very strong opinion on that. The fact that Michael Flynn, a person who has been charged of lying to Congress, is the first witness called by the House Judiciary Committee, headed by Jerry Nadler, who I did a video on, by the way, that proved his intentions. Please go watch that shit. I'll talk about it later. But, yeah, no, they totally do that. They will take anybody who will satisfy their needs as opposed to seek out the truth.
How about just move on?
Well, the problem is they can't move on because if they move on, they have to at least accept the fact that Trump's doing an actual good job.
No, they just have to accept that they can't beat him this way.
But they refuse to. Their ego is too large.
And that's where the problem is always going to lie. And it's going to be a case where when that second
Fuck you,
term,
Cody.
when that well, maybe when that second term happens, you know, then all they can say is, well, it's only 4 more years, everyone. Okay.
Yeah, I
Not before
mean,
the candidate.
it's going to be four more years just because they can't put up a good candidate. I mean, any good candidate that they could have put up, they trashed either in the media or they trashed internally.
Thanks, you Theo. Fuck you, Traps. That's it. I really appreciate the compliment. And if I tramadol to offer Lindy, I would gladly give it all to you.
Oh, you feel your words hurt me so much.
And his big peepee.
Oh, it's a guy?
Oh, carry on. No, the comment earlier, Cody.
Oh.
Jesus, I'm all over the place.
That's fine. No, you're good. You're good. You're good. No, so they're gonna try to impeach him again, and it's gonna
Okay.
fail again, probably.
Sounds. How much
I
it
know that
cost?
the Judiciary Committee has already been approved by Nancy Pelosi to subpoena John Bolton for testimony.
You
You know,
can't.
John Bolton,
A liar,
the one
he'll
who wrote a
lie.
book. Of course he will. He wrote a book about it. Why would he say anything more than what he already wrote in the book? That, he's asking for money so people can get the truth, quote unquote. Which, by the way, is going to be the most copyrighted book in the history of the world in like the first 2 months. Because it's going to be like fucking cited on MSNBC. It's going to be cited on CNN. It's going to be cited on Fox News, and all of that shit is basically going to be just ripped out of the book, and it's going to be pasted on the fucking news agency.
I may have to buy this book just so I can get the context.
But that's the issue. I don't believe anyone who's going to ask for money to put out truth. I think that's bullshit. If you really have truth, then you just tell it. If you're going to lie and say, or if you're going to basically say, oh, I have the truth, but you have to pay $19.99 so you can see my truth. Well, you're not telling the truth. You're a fucking liar. You're just in it for the money, and you fucking know it. It's so blatantly obvious. Why would anyone assume that? Oh yeah, that person is definitely telling the truth. They have a very good backing. Trying to get people to pay for the truth. Huh? Weird. I think it's bullshit, and I can't imagine anybody who actually genuinely believes that John Bolton is going to tell the truth simply because he wrote it in a book and wasn't allowed to testify. I'm sorry, that's BS. If you have the truth, I mean, somebody who alleged to have the truth ended up as a whistleblower, having a conversation with Adam Schiff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his friend, who also is sometimes able to be named, but sometimes also not able to be named, he works for the Adam Schiff campaign now. Weird how those two all kind of mesh together. Rand Paul wasn't even allowed to ask that question in the Senate hearing. Judge Roberts literally denied him, even though that's public knowledge. The fact that I can tell my friend who lives in D.C., who we had grown up together, oh, this person who has this name? He goes, yes, that pesky whistleblower, as he says sarcastically, because I have friends who are Democrats. And I was like, oh, weird how you just know the whistleblower's name when mentioned. Kind of defeats the purpose of confidentiality, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, can't buy the book yet. It's not been published because there's classified information. Weird. Almost like the national secretary shouldn't post information about privileged information. I don't know why this is a strange thought to anybody. But right now you have this infighting during the Democratic Party, which has basically split everybody up. Joe Biden's already taking pot shots at Bernie Sanders because he's a Democratic socialist, and Pete Buttigieg, who literally has no experience other than being a mayor of Indiana. So Joe Biden has taken pot shots saying, why should he lead? He's done nothing more than be a mayor of a small town. Well, Joe Biden, I mean, Trump didn't have any political experience. He was just a real estate mogul, and he's doing better than your fucking buddy Obama did. It's weird. I don't know it almost like for anybody who's watching this, who is like trying to approach this with any kind of skepticism, goes, how the fuck did we get here? And I really want to like stress this. How the fuck did we get here? And people like the group I'm a part of, the original funny Trump memes on Facebook. How the fuck How the fuck do they still believe in just the Democratic establishment is out for their benefit? When we've watched them over and over again lie, cheat, and basically steal to try and win over elections, electorates, votes in general, districts, investigations. Let me remind you guys, the Mueller investigation just ended last year, like in the middle of the summer. They don't remember that shit. And then impeachment started, and nobody questioned. Fucking what? Why? Still there, Meg?
Yes, I was wondering when you were gonna breathe.
Now.
Cool. Do you feel better now?
Partially.
Both parties lie, cheat, steal. Yes, they are all the guerreros.
Yeah, they're all liars. They're politicians. Remember how we used to say that politicians were liars?
Oh, they all are. They're bastard-coated
Yeah.
bastards with bastard filling. They are renowned. They do. It's
Yeah.
all about power and how one attains it. And lying is a necessary tool to achieve a certain goal.
Sure.
When
But,
you
like,
yes, when
they're
you get to the voting
politicians,
booths,
right?
yes. Everyone's right. When Karma's right. When you get to the voting booths, remember to pick the lesser evil. And I have an image actually I need to put on the screen.
Make sure you can define the lesser evil.
I'll get to it in a sec. Give me a moment because I'm quite pissed off by this. While I know it's a Photoshop, I'm still triggered beyond belief. And why is the image a GIF file? Seriously, who is creating GIF files? Stop creating GIF files. It actually annoys me. Oh dear, it's that stupid. Oh, we can't save it like this. We have to make it something else. F off. Political recap, images. There you go. Go there, right. Thank you. So, when you're picking your lesser evils, you kind of have a choice, really. And apparently, I'm currently positioned 4th out of 5th. Now, I know this is apparently a doctored image. I tend to disagree. Trump is considered the greatest threat to world peace, next to an asteroid at 17%, and then somehow I'm tied with Thanos, and above Hitler. It should be noted, as Hitler and Thanos are both dead, their vote should go to me, and I should be at least second by now. Okay, carry on. Vote for me, everyone.
Well, it is a German survey, and I'm surprised that they put Hitler so far down there, considering...
Well, he's dead, so he should be quite far down.
Right, but the Nazis, man, they're everywhere, remember?
Oh, well, they are in every other country. There's a huge issue. It's kind of illegal to be one in Germany.
No, both parties are not equally corrupt. Citation needed.
Oh, let him have his thing. It's all good.
I mean, his name is proof enough.
It's all good. Anyway, are we done here, Trops?
Do you want to be done?
Well, I don't know what more. I can't really add anything to this beyond my song. I mean,
it may be wise for us to be.
Yeah, I don't really have anything I can add to this because it's, to me, it's childish, hilarious, and I can't believe the pantomime is going to be continuing.
Yes, quite.
Is there anything you would like to shill?
Yes, please go watch the video that I had posted up on Monday about Jerry Nadler's terrifying assertion in the middle of a Senate hearing. I would love for everybody to watch that and put their 2 cents in, because, it's a blatant admission of corrupt motive, I would call it. But, legally it's not a corrupt motive, but I'd call it a corrupt motive in terms of the entire U.S. justice system.
Okay. Well, his channel link is down below. By all means, if you are interested in Trup's content, then by all means do go there. I think it's good content, so you should go there. Even if you don't like him on the streams, because I think it's hilarious. I personally have nothing to shill. I do apologise for not releasing a video here today or on the main channel. I was just too tired. I was just so busy and tired. But I will be updating some stuff over the weekend when available, and yeah, got some other things going on. I'll get back to you on that when I get it done. So as we are done here, thank you all very much for joining us. Hope you'll have a fantastic weekend. I will indeed try to enjoy Sabaton. Thank you, Ray Dale. So yeah, say goodnight, Trups.
Good night, Chops.
Good night, Trups.